students, welcome to this online class. Today we will complete the chapter Indigo written by Louis Fisher. And we will see how Gandhiji was successful in getting a refund of 25% to the peasants from the English landlords. Let us begin today's class with a commentary on the Champaran episode. Come, let's start.
The story Indigo narrates Gandhiji's struggle for the poor peasants of Champaran. The peasants were sharecroppers with the British planters. According to an old agreement, the peasants had to produce indigo on 15% of the land and give it as rent to the landlords. Around 1917, it was told that Germany had developed synthetic indigo. So the British planters now no longer desired the indigo crop. To release the peasants from the 15% agreement, they demanded compensation from them. Most of the illiterate peasants agreed to it. However, others refused. Lawyers were engaged to go to the court. This was really a burden to the sharecroppers. They had no money to pay the compensation. At that time, on the request of Rajkumar Shukla, a sharecropper, Gandhiji appeared in Champaran. He sought the help of prominent lawyers to liberate the farmers from their problem. Gandhiji fought for the poor peasants a long battle for 1 year and managed to get justice for them. The peasants now got courage and became aware of their rights. Along with the political and economic struggle, Gandhiji worked on the social level also. He made arrangements for the education, health and hygiene of the families of the poor peasants of Champaran. This way he helped them. Let us move on. Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mashrul Haq and several other prominent lawyers had arrived from Bihar. They conferred with Gandhi. What would they do if he was sentenced to prison? Gandhi asked. The meaning of the word confer is discussed. They discussed with Gandhi. These people who had come had a discussion with Gandhi. We know that there was a case filed against Gandhi and the judge had not given or delivered the judgment for several days. At this time, these people came to, or these lawyers arrived to advise Gandhi. Gandhiji asked the lawyers as to what they would do if he was sentenced to prison. Now, let us see what was their reply. To Gandhiji's question as to what they would do if he was sentenced to prison, they said, let's read now. Why? The senior lawyer replied, they had come to advise and help him. If he went to jail, there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. Thus the senior lawyer gave a very straightforward answer. He said they wanted to go home in case Gandhiji was sent to prison. So there will be nobody there to be advised, or there would be nobody to advise and they would go home. Gandhiji was rather annoyed at this reply. He asked the lawyers about the injustice to the sharecroppers. Now we know Gandhiji had come to Champaran in order to solve the problem of sharecroppers. The sharecroppers were asked to pay a compensation by the landlords, and he was there to study their case and to solve this issue. So when the lawyers said they would go back to their homes if he was arrested, he asked them that then what would be the case of the sharecroppers? How could they bring an end to the injustice to them? Thus the lawyers withdrew to consult. That means they once again came together to have a discussion as to what they should do if Gandhiji was sent to prison. Let's see what was the outcome of their discussions now. Now let us see what the lawyers thought among themselves. They thought Gandhi was totally a stranger, and yet he was prepared to go to prison for the sake of the peasants. If they, on the other hand, being not only residents of the adjoining districts, but also those who claim to have served these peasants, should go home, it would be shameful desertion. I hope this is understood. When Gandhiji asked them, what about the injustice to the sharecroppers if they would go to their homes if he was arrested? They again consulted among themselves and came to the conclusion that if an outsider like Gandhiji is willing to go to prison, it will not be good on their part to go their homes, because most of them are residents of the adjoining districts, and they are also people who claim that they are there to serve the peasants in their problems. Therefore they thought it would be shameful on their part if they go home. Here we find Gandhiji's intervention had the desired result. They accordingly went back to Gandhi and told him they were ready to follow him into jail. The battle of Champaran is won, he exclaimed. Gandhi now exclaims, the battle of Champaran is won. What might have made Gandhiji to make this statement? Gandhiji said these words when he was able to win the lawyers' trust. Earlier, these lawyers had certain misconceptions about Gandhiji, but as they saw his determination towards the peasants' liberation, they came in his full support. And this made Gandhiji to say, the battle of Champaran is won. Then he took a piece of paper and divided the group of lawyers into pairs and put down the order in which each pair was to court arrest. So he did this. If there was a need, they will have to court arrest in pairs. All should not be arrested in one go. That's why he divided the group of lawyers into pairs. We move on. Several days later, Gandhi received a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the Lieutenant Governor of the province had ordered the case to be dropped. Civil disobedience had triumphed, the first time in modern India. We have already read that Gandhiji was served a notice to leave Champaran immediately, but he disobeyed the order. Gandhiji disobeyed the order, and there was a case against him in the court. The magistrate was not willing to deliver the judgment. The magistrate was not willing to deliver the judgment for several days. Finally, he got a written communication, and that's what we read here. He got a written communication from the magistrate informing him that the Lieutenant Governor had ordered the case to be dropped. Civil disobedience had triumphed for the first time in modern India. Gandhi remained in Champaran for an initial uninterrupted period of 7 months and then again for several shorter visits. Gandhiji and the lawyers conducted a far-flung inquiry into the problems of the farmers, and they collected evidence and documents also were collected. Afterwards, he had 4 long interviews with the Lieutenant Governor. Sir Edward Gate was the Lieutenant Governor, and this made an official inquiry possible. The Lieutenant Governor appointed an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation. The commission consisted of landlords, government officials, and Gandhiji as the sole representative of the peasants. This was really an achievement. The appointment of an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecropper situation was really an achievement for the farmers. The visit, undertaken casually on the entreaty of an unlettered peasant in the expectation that it would last few days, occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. Students, here we are given to understand that Gandhiji had expected that he would have to stay in Champaran just for a few days. But it occupied almost a year of Gandhi's life. All this was done because of the entreaty of an unlettered peasant, an illiterate peasant, and in this case it was Rajkumar Shukla who pleaded Gandhiji to visit Champaran and to look into the problem of the sharecroppers and solve it for them. Students, we already read about Gandhiji's long interviews with the Lieutenant Governor, and as a result, appointment of an official commission of inquiry into the indigo sharecroppers situation. Now this inquiry, let us read now. The official inquiry assembled a crushing mountain of evidence against the big planters, and when they saw this, they agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. But how much must we pay? They asked Gandhi. Thus here we see that the commission agreed in principle to make refunds to the peasants. This shows that the sharecroppers were exploited and there was no basis, or the landlords could not justify asking for a compensation from the sharecroppers. So when there was a lot of evidence against the big planters, the landlords, it was agreed that they would make refunds to the peasants. And Gandhiji was asked how much must be paid to the sharecroppers, to the peasants. They thought he would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers. Here we are given to understand that the planters, the big planters, the landlords, thought that Gandhi would demand repayment in full of the money which they had collected from the sharecroppers illegally. Reverend Hodge, who was a British missionary, writes about the episode in the following way. He asked only 50%, there he seemed adamant. Writes Reverend J.Z. Hodge, a British missionary in Champaran who observed the entire episode at close range. Thinking probably that he would not give way, the representative of the planters offered to refund to the extent of 25%, and to his amazement, Mr. Gandhi took him at his word, thus breaking the deadlock. The planters were under the impression that Gandhiji would demand repayment in full of the money which they had illegally and deceitfully extorted from the sharecroppers. But to everyone's surprise, Gandhiji accepted a refund to the extent of 25%, and this brought an end to the deadlock. This settlement was adopted unanimously by the Commission. Gandhi explained that the amount of the refund was less important than the fact that the landlords had been obliged to surrender part of the money and with it part of their prestige. Students, the Champaran struggle was termed a huge success and victory because Gandhiji was able to make the landlords surrender part of the money and their prestige by making them agree to hand over 25% of the money as compensation. Gandhiji accepted this offer to break the deadlock. He justified the compromise. He argued that the peasants had won the battle by compelling the planters to refund part of the money. And the peasants discovered for the first time that they had rights also, and the authority could be humbled. So they were successful in winning this battle. Therefore, as far as the peasants were concerned, the planters had behaved as lords above the law. Now the peasant saw that he had rights and defenders. He learned courage. The peasants were able to overcome their fear of their landlords, and now they understood, or they came to know about their rights, and they also knew they had defenders, and this made them to be more courageous. They were able to tackle any obstacles in their life. Events justified Gandhi's position. Within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates, which reverted to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappeared. Thus, Gandhiji was successful in bringing about a solution to the problem of the sharecroppers. And we also read here that within a few years, the British planters abandoned their estates and sharecropping disappeared. The lesson Indigo makes it very clear to us that Gandhiji was never satisfied himself with large political or economic solutions. He saw the cultural and social backwardness in the Champaran villages and wanted to do something about it immediately. We further read, health conditions were miserable. Gandhi got a doctor to volunteer his services for 6 months. 3 medicines were available: castor oil, quinine and sulfur ointment. Anybody who showed a quarter tongue was given a dose of castor oil. Anybody with skin eruptions received ointment plus castor oil. Anybody with malaria fever received quinine plus castor oil. So this was the treatment given to the patients those days by the doctors who volunteered to work to improve the health conditions of the people in Champaran. The Champaran episode was a turning point in Gandhi's life. What I did, he explained, was a very ordinary thing. I declared that the British could not order me about in my own country. Gandhiji wanted the people themselves should fight and win the battle for a just cause. Thus he taught the people a lesson in self-reliance. Gandhiji, through his personal example, taught the people, the masses, to be self-reliant and motivated them into civil disobedience. Students, now let us revise the entire lesson with the help of a PowerPoint presentation. Read the lesson thoroughly and prepare well. Students, come, let us revise this lesson. Mahatma Gandhi's decision to urge the departure of British was in the year 1917. In the month of December 1916, Gandhiji took part in the annual convention of the Indian National Congress Party in Lucknow. During the convention, Gandhiji met 2,301 delegates and visitors. A peasant named Rajkumar Shukla from Champaran approached Gandhiji and wanted help for the peasants and sharecroppers. Gandhiji was moved by the firm determination of the peasant Rajkumar Shukla. Shukla met Gandhi at Calcutta. They together went to Patna, Rajendra Prasad's house, and from there they moved on to Muzaffarpur on 15th April 1917. There they met J.B. Kripalani, lawyers, and stayed with Professor Malkani and talked of sharecroppers. He felt the need to free the farmers, peasants, of fear. Thus, Gandhiji agrees to help the farmers to come out of their problem. Champaran was divided into estates owned by Englishmen. The landlords compelled all tenants to plant 15% of their holdings with indigo and surrender the entire indigo harvest as rent. Now, indigo was not in demand as synthetic indigo was developed by Germany. Therefore, the tenants were asked to pay compensation to be released from binding. Some peasants paid and they wanted the money back now. Some peasants resisted this demand of the landlords. Gandhiji was now in Champaran and he was on a fact collection mission. He met Secretary of British Landlord Association Corporation, met British Official Commissioner of Tahat Division, and in Motihari, capital of Champaran, he continued his investigation. Gandhiji was served a notice to quit Champaran, but he defied the order. Thereafter, he received summons to appear in the court. Then, Gandhiji called Rajendra Prasad and other influential friends for support. Morning found the town of Motihari black with peasants. They did not know Gandhiji's record in South Africa. They had merely heard that a Mahatma who wanted to help them was in trouble with the authorities. The spontaneous demonstration in thousands around the courthouse was the beginning of peasants' liberation from fear of the British. The government was baffled and the prosecutor requested the judge to postpone the trial. But Gandhiji pleaded guilty. Gandhiji pleaded guilty that he defied the government order. He told the court that he was in a conflict of duties. On one hand, not to set bad example as a lawbreaker. On the other hand, to render humanitarian and national service for which he had come to Champaran. He disregarded the order to leave, not for want of respect for lawful authority, but in obedience to the higher law of our being, the voice of conscience. After Gandhi pleaded guilty, magistrate gave 2-hour break, asked Gandhiji to furnish bail. Gandhiji refused to furnish bail. Therefore, he was released without bail. And the judgment was postponed for several days. Till then, Gandhiji was free. And days later, the case was dropped, and civil disobedience triumphed for the first time in modern India. Rajendra Prasad, Brij Kishore Babu, Maulana Mashrul Haq and other prominent lawyers came to help Gandhi. Gandhiji asked them that what they would do if he was arrested. They said they would return home. Then Gandhiji asked them what would be the fate of the sharecroppers. This made the lawyers realize how a stranger like Gandhi was working for the sharecroppers. After a thorough discussion, the lawyers went to Gandhiji and said they were ready to follow Gandhiji. They were ready to follow him to jail. Now Gandhiji was relieved and he said, the battle of Champaran is won. An inquiry commission was appointed to look into the grievances of farmers. Evidence and documents were collected and investigations led to protest by the landlords. Gandhiji was summoned by Sir Edward, the Lieutenant Governor. And after having 4 long interviews with the Lieutenant Governor appointed an official commission of inquiry. And finally, 25% refund was sanctioned. Gandhiji accepted it because freedom from fear was more important than the amount. The 25% refund that the peasants were to get from the English landlords. Now the peasants realized that they had rights and they gained courage and attained freedom from fear. Within few years, British planters abandoned estates and sharecropping disappeared. And political and economic solution was found. Gandhiji now wanted to do something for the villages. He wanted to improve the cultural and social backwardness in Champaran villages. And the team comprised Gandhi, his son, his wife, and several others. Services provided. Primary schools were opened. Rules on personal hygienic and community sanitation imparted. Doctors volunteered and medicines were given, castor oil, quinine and sulfur ointment. Women interacted with Kasturbai and they were given lessons in cleanliness. Charles Andrews wanted to help Gandhiji in Champaran action. Gandhiji's lawyer friends thought it would be a good idea to have an Englishman on their side. Gandhiji declined the offer and stressed on self-reliance. According to him, accepting his help would be a sign of weakness. He told the lawyers that when the cause is just, you must rely upon yourself to win the battle. Thus we find self-reliance, Indian independence, and help to sharecroppers were all bound together. Finally, the goal was achieved.